Welcome to Nomads Notes, and in this video I'm going to talk about an exciting new feature in Nomads Notes to do with trip planning. So you can plan every aspect of your trip, to your route, your budget for your campsites and all other expenses. So we're just going to go now to our navigation bar as usual, and there's a new feature here, or a new page here called My Plans. Go to My Plans. And I've got two plans here at the moment, just two different plans for two different trips I may be going on, and you can do as many plans as you like for a trip. They can be a trip or a plan can be anything from a night to many weeks. We've got different, this one's 222 nights, this one's 39 nights. We've also got a calendar view, and we can look at each one in the calendar view as well. So we'll go ahead now and show you how to create those plans for a trip. So we're going to come up here to the Add New button, and we're going to add a new plan. And the plan is just like a trip. So I'm going to give it a name, just like I would a trip. And I'm heading to South Australia in a few weeks. Just because I'm in Australia doesn't mean to say this can't be used anywhere. It can be used anywhere in the world. So we're leaving next Friday. And just putting in the destination there. Now when choosing the vehicle, we're only choosing the main vehicle. You may have more than one vehicle on a trip, but for this planning segment, we're just going to choose one vehicle only. We can add a second vehicle for each trip when we create the trip. And we can also set a budget per day, per week, per month. But I'm going to set my budget per week. I'm going to save this plan. So now I can see on the left here I've got a plan for South Australia leaving next week. So within that plan I'll have lots of segments. I might have planned campsites every single night and have lots of segments over my trip, or I might not have any idea where I'm going, and I might want to go from the east coast to the west coast and just see how long it's going to take me and just have one segment. And that could be from the east coast of Australia, Sydney to Perth. That could be from the east coast of the US, from New York to Los Angeles, or from Paris to Prague. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can make your segments. So we're going to add a new segment here. Now a segment can act in several different ways. So here I've got a new segment for my planned trip to South Australia, and the date is, for the first segment, is on the day the trip starts. So on the day the trip starts, I'm going to leave home, and I'll just type in my suburb, and then on this particular trip, for the first night, I know where I'm going. So I'm going to click from my campsite list, I'm going to choose one. On this particular segment of my trip, I'm not going to go via anywhere, I'm going straight there. It's not very far from home, so I'm now going to compose my route. Now we'll now compose my route in my map over here, and it will take me to exactly the spot on where I'm going. As well, some more information will now show up. It tells me exactly how many kilometres this is and how long it will take me. This shows in kilometres because I'm in Australia, but if you're in a country that uses miles, this will show in miles. So somewhere around about 57, 58 miles that will show, whatever your settings are set at. This is also showing me that I normally average on all of my trips 265 kilometres per driving day. So that's, 265 kilometres per day. So this information is already filled in there because I've got lots of trips already in my database. If you don't have any trips so far, that will be 0, and you can just type something in and that will give you an idea of the number of nights. But with this particular one, that doesn't matter because I know I'm staying for 3 nights. The next one is the campsite cost. The last time I stayed at this campsite, because it's one of my own campsites, it cost me $14 per night. So I'm going to leave that. If you haven't got any data in your Nomads Notes database yet, that won't show anything, then you can just put in your anticipated cost for the night. As you build more data in your Nomads Notes database, this will fill automatically and your data will become much more reliable. With this I know it's reliable, that's how much I paid last time. The average expenses per day, now again that's built from data in my Nomads Notes database, and these expenses exclude fuel, which is below, and campsite cost, which is above, and it excludes vehicle maintenance. So this is data again from my Nomads Notes database. If you don't have any in there yet, you can change that. It won't have anything, and you can just put in what you anticipate your average per day will be. And these particular days, I don't think it's going to be that much, so I'm going to change that to a different number. And as you can see, the total anticipated expenses has changed because of 3 nights, and it's $35. Now for my fuel, again from my database, Nomads knows what my fuel consumption is, and it will show in whatever setting you show, either miles per gallon, kilometres per litre, or litres per 100 kilometres. And it's anticipating for the 95 kilometres I'm travelling, this is how much fuel I'm going to need, and it's anticipating that this is the average fuel that I've paid over all my data. If you don't have any data in there yet, you can just put the price of fuel, but that's my average, and because this is Easter, I'm actually going to change that to a different number. And so we've now got a total cost for these 3 nights. So I'm happy with all that, and I'm going to save this segment. So I can see now I've got 3 nights, I'm going to travel 95 kilometres, and it's costing me this much, and it's given me an anticipated budget per week. I'm now going to do my next segment. My next segment is a little different. I don't have a particular planned campsite, and I'm just going to head south. And I'm going to stop at a town, somewhere near a town called Goulburn. It doesn't really matter exactly where, and I'm going to compose my route there. This now showing me that's 915 kilometres, and it's going to take me 10 hours. And at my average, it's suggesting I take 4 days. But I'm actually going to only want to spend 2 nights between my last one and this one. I'm going to do quite a few kilometres those days. This is now showing, because I don't have a campsite, this is showing my average over all my data in Nomads Notes, all my nights in Nomads Notes. But in these 2 particular nights, I'm intending on staying in free camps. I'm going to change that to 0. But this will now be after Easter, so I'm going to leave the fuel at $1.38. I can change it if I want to. I can change any of those. Just to give you an idea of what the buyer means, if I go from Lennox Heads to Goulburn and I scroll in, you can see it bypasses Sydney altogether. Just to give you an idea of how the buyer works, I might decide I want to go via a landmark of the Sydney Opera House. So I can just type in the Sydney Opera House and it'll come up. I can type in an address or a landmark or a tourist destination, and I can add up to 8 buyers by just adding another place. And I can start typing there some other Sydney attraction, Sydney Olympic Park. But I won't add that for now. We'll just go by the Sydney Opera House, and I'm going to recompose my route. So now there it's giving me the option, and it's going a little bit further, 946 kilometres this time. So just to give you an idea of how the buyer works. But I'm actually not going to do that now. I've decided I don't want to go that far. I'm just going to recompose my route. So I'm back to 915 kilometres and all the rest of my data I'm having. So I'm going to save that now. On the next night, once we're used to it, it becomes much quicker. I'm actually going to stay at Mum's. I'm going to compose my route. I'm actually going to stay one night, and Mum doesn't charge me, so I'm just going to change it to 0, and the rest I'm going to leave. So as simple as that. I'm on the next night. Again, I know my campsite, and I'm not stopping anywhere along the way, and I'm staying for 2 nights. And again, I'm not planning on paying for accommodation those nights. If I am, that's okay, I can leave it there. I'm going to leave everything as it is. On the next night, again, I don't have an idea of where I'm going. I'm just heading south towards South Australia, and I'm heading to a place called Torquay. No, I put that in the wrong place. And I'm going to compose my route. And I actually it suggests I'll probably take 3 days, and I'm going to actually only take 2. And I'm going to save that there. And just for haste here, I'm going to just have one more segment just to go home. And I'm going to save that one too. So I've now got my trip here. I can look at, and my trip's going to be 17 nights. I'm going to be doing just under 4,000 kilometres, and that's my total cost. And so it's suggesting that's $1,000 a week. So I can look at that in calendar view. I've got all sorts of different trips there in my calendar view, but this is the trip here. So I can see there how long I'm going to be away, etc. And if I'm at a campsite, it will show up details on the blue line, and I can click on the day and it'll give me the details here. And if I'm not at a designated campsite, it won't show up anything. And there's nothing here in the little blue line. So now that I have my trip all planned, I can edit it, or I can delete segments of that of the trip, but I'll leave that to another video. I'm now ready to leave on my trip, and it's the day before or the day of my trip, and I can turn this into a trip. I don't want to do it too early, because if I do it too early, I might use my vehicle and add kilometres and my odometer won't be correct. I can edit it later, but as Nomads notes, it is a real-time data entry about what's actually happening, a diary. We'll do this either on the day of or the day before we leave on the trip. So I can now move this with the arrow to make it a trip once I'm happy with it. So it's just now like creating the new trip just as you normally do in Nomads Notes. All the information is already filled for you, and I'm going to adjust my budget now that I've got a general idea, and I'm going to put in my starting odometer because I'm leaving today or tomorrow, and I now know what my odometer is. I'm going to save that trip. I can add a second vehicle if I want. In this particular trip, I'm only taking my main vehicle. So it's now removed that trip from the planning page because it's no longer in plan. It's now a trip, and it's just thinking about this blue bar coming across the top, and it will now take me to my trips page. And we've come to my trips dashboard, and now the most recent trip at the top is my South Australian trip. It's already listed there, but there's no information there at all yet because I haven't actually started on my trip. You'll also notice I've got a new button up here for plan. So I can now click on plan, and I can see now that here's my plan, and I can see the calendar view just as I could before, and I can see the plan detail just as I could before. Not every trip has a plan. If I go to a trip here and click on plan, I can see there's no plan for this trip. You don't have to have a plan for a trip. You could just go for a couple of nights. You don't need to have any plan. But if you want to have a plan, you can, and the plan's here. Again, you can edit and delete and insert from this page. Now that you're actually on the trip, you might want to edit it. As you're travelling along, always plans change, and that's okay. We can do that at any time. So that is just a quick rundown of how to create a plan for Nomads Notes Travel Diary software. And now that we've got created, we can leave on our trip, have a fabulous time, and record our diary with the rest of the features in this app.